Thanks for joining us on the NRT Now podcast, part of the largest Christian music site online, newreleasetoday.com. Sit back and relax as we chat with your favorite artists, introduce you to new artists, and more. Now here's your host, Jake.
So we're here with Rhett Walker, who just a couple of months ago got the coveted New Release Today, We Love Awards, Hody, the host of the year. It was a close race, but I think it was really no surprise when you awarded it to yourself in the end.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people wanted it. I just want to thank the Academy and God and inspirational piano music that they play at Chick-fil-A, because the Hody Award, I mean, I think it was the first year. They've waited this long to give it out. I mean, I made it up, but, you know, still, it's coveted now. People want it.
Yeah, it was really suspenseful till the end there when you just gave it to yourself and ran home with it. But, you know, it was a long time coming. It was 9 years coming, I guess.
9 years coming. They waited till this year. They're like, we can't give out the Hody Award.
It was a little bit dicey a few weeks ago when on Star Wars Day. There was a little bit of misconduct happened that was put it a little bit at risk here, but I think we pulled through.
Yeah, I think I haven't really seen the Marvel movies. So that's why I got confused between Star Wars and Star Trek.
I just don't even know where to go with this.
Or is that DC? I don't know. I can't remember. There's
just so much wrong with this. Like, we're kind of starting to tread backwards here on this Hody Award. We might have to really start rethinking this. So what we're talking about, if you go back through Rhett's socials on Instagram, he posted for Star Wars Day, a sacred holiday for the nerdy of us here. And he posted Happy Star Wars Day with a Next Generation Star Trek picture, which, I mean, there's like a cardinal sin for like 3 different groups happening right there.
There was groups on groups on groups of just like nerd Facebook groups that were coming to beat me up. They're like, we're going to find you and beat you up. You can't put May the 4th be with you with a Star Trek picture. But, easy mistake. Everybody makes that mistake. Everybody does.
I mean, I think we may have started a theological rift in the church. Like, I think we may be running a split now. It's a little dangerous.
That's funny.
Just before we got this going, or starting another theological rift here in the South, you went to Whataburger for lunch, which, I mean, I hope you're okay with me broadcasting your lunch choices. It's too late now.
No, it's great.
I mean, I was a little hurt as an In-N-Out guy myself. I mean, you went to Whataburger, and it really took a lot to really follow through with this interview. I mean, there's a lot of grace happening there. I feel like we need to pray for salvation here in a minute. But
we're on our road to redemption right now. Look, Whataburger is across the street from my hotel. I love a nice double animal style. In-N-Out's fries are kind of trash, but
I'll give you that.
But Whataburger does have the Dr. Pepper shake, which is stupid good.
For those of you who are not in the South, this is like a very, very Southern thing. Like in Texas, it's kind of like a terrible thing if you don't like Whataburger. Like it's almost like the theological rift. And now I'm just so flustered I can't even talk about it.
Yeah. I've been in Texas and seen people say, man, I'm kind of more of a fan of In-N-Out. And they picked him up and carried him out of the state. They're like, you will not say that in God's country.
Well, and it's so crazy, the cult following around Whataburger, because like people have them for their groom cakes, at their weddings and stuff.
That's crazy.
It's insane how much this fast food restaurant has this cult following.
It's a thing, dude.
Yeah. But
it is a thing.
There's just some things that just taste like home. Like for me, I grew up in the middle of Wyoming, and there's a restaurant called Taco John's. It's kind of in the same vein as Taco Bell. I mean, it's not really that great. Probably, yes, partiality. But, I mean, objectively, is it better? Who knows? But it's a home.
It's true. That's Ryan's Steakhouse for me. You ever been to a Ryan's or Golden Corral?
Oh, my gosh, Golden Corral.
It's like, have you ever been hungry for, like, pizza, steak, macaroni, and lasagna? Well, buddy, we got it for you.
only that specific combo. Like if you don't want the macaroni, just don't go.
Yeah, you know what? Don't even show up if you don't want all of those and a cheese fountain.
And don't forget to save room for the ice cream at the end with all the gummy bears and all the sprinkles. And
yeah, that's just probably the worst place to go eat. I get you a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I do not remember the last time I went to a Golden Corral, but yeah, as a 10-year-old kid, as a 10, 12-year-old me, that was like amazing because you could go get whatever you wanted. Yeah. You didn't have to order one specific thing on the menu.
I was probably 10 last time I went.
And they've all but disappeared. I think there may be a stray Golden Corral here and there, but
yeah, stray Golden Corral. Look at that stray Golden Corral over there.
Yeah. Oh man, it's bringing back some childhood trauma there too. But we'll gloss on past that. Speaking of Wyoming, another southern thing kind of coming through here, but I actually met you in 2018. Well, I say met you. You ignored me the whole time, but. We were in a festival in the middle of Wyoming, August 8 of 2018 or so.
Yeah.
In Casper, Wyoming, and you were one of the performers right between Austin French and a group called Bread of Stone.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you remember that show. Like it was raining cats and dogs right after Bread of Stone.
Yeah.
The wind came up whipping, and it was one heck of a crazy night before we got to get back going that day.
Yeah, it was nuts outside. And Mandisa was there that day too.
Yep, she was.
Dude, me and Austin have met a few times, but that was the first time we got to like actually hang. And I went to like, you kind of put your arm around somebody for like the hug, but you also don't know about if you should do like the shake kind of, or like pull in thing. So he had his laptop in his hand and we went to kind of do like a hug handshake. And instead I just hit him in the face.
Oh, jeez.
It was like a crappy little like barely thing, but we both just stood there and I was like, dude, did I just hit you in the face? Like I felt so bad. I was like, Austin's never going to want to be my friend because the one time we're hanging out, I accidentally hit him in the face.
That must be a Georgia thing. I don't know. Hey, buddy, good to meet you.
That's what people that like Whataburger over In-N-Out do.
Because both you and Austin are from Georgia. I think separate parts of the state, but.
Yeah. But still, that's how us Georgia people, greet each other. Like, what's up, dude? Pop.
But no, I say ignore me. But one of the most southern things to do is as you walk by, you just give the nod, walk past. Like that's a whole conversation in and of itself. Like, hey, how's it going?
Yeah,
good to see you. That's all you need is just the nod, the look, and the nod, and
yeah,
that's all it is.
That lets you know, like, me and you are immediately friends.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's up, dude?
Maybe it's just more of a country thing too. I've seen a little bit in Wyoming. You kind of give the nod or the 2-finger wave as you're driving past or something like that. That's all you need. That's everything.
Well, it's like even when you say like, "How you doing?" Like that's all you say. And if people answer that, it's weird. Yeah. I feel like walking past somebody, you're like, "What's up? How you doing?" And people are like, "You know what? I'm actually doing fine." You're like, "Who are you talking? Who are you talking to? Are you talking?" I was just saying it. I don't need an answer. It's rhetorical. Regular humans know that.
It's not an actual question. It's more of a statement.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just a, hey, that's fun.
So you have moved back down to Georgia, from what I understand, Augusta, which is where the Masters is.
Yep.
So when the Masters comes to town, you see Rhett out there with a knockoff gold jacket for sale in the back of his pickup.
Yep. You can find me in the Kroger parking lot scouting tickets. No, I love golf. I love the Masters. I've just always been a fan, but it's funny. If you ever go to Augusta when it's not Masters week, there is nothing in Augusta, like nothing. But during Masters week, it's like Disney World. There's like pop-up shops and restaurants, and it's a thing, man.
And I've actually flown through Augusta once or twice. The airport is tiny, like 5 gates tiny, which has saved my bacon more than once.
Yeah.
You get there like 45 minutes before the flight takes off and you're 20 minutes early.
Yeah. That's my favorite. And now I know like the TSA people that work there. Cause like I'm the only person in line. I'm like, hey, me again, But actually I just go and they know that like I'm catching up with them, all the stuff. Give them the head nod.
What prompted you to move from Nashville back to Georgia?
Well, man, we actually got back there before the shutdown and everything, which is really nice. But we were in Nashville for about 13 years. And I've got 2 that were born in Georgia and then 2 kids that were born in Nashville. It's gotten to the point now where if I'm not on the road or writing, there was nothing we were doing in Nashville. We were just home. And so it just hit me one day. I was talking with my dad and he was like, hey, you ever going to move back to this area? And I hadn't really thought about it. And so me and my wife went out to dinner and I was like, hey, have you ever thought about moving back? And she was like, don't mess with me. She was like, I prayed to move back for years. I just knew it would be in God's timing and I didn't want it to be about me. I wanted it to be God goes, hey, your time in Nashville is over. But she'd been praying about it for a while. And so we had just built a house in Nashville. From the day we signed the papers and moved in, closed on it, to the day we moved out was exactly a year.
Wow. And
we packed up and we moved to Nashville and put our house on the market, but didn't even wait for it to sell. We just bounced. My family and her family is within like 15 minutes from each other. And so my kids, they haven't known grandparents, till, they knew their grandparents, but not like going over there, spending the night, spending all day with them. So, just coming back, my kids are spoiled rotten now. They love it and we love it. And then to be there right before everything shut down and to be able to be around my grandma, my kids' great grandparents, it's just time that we'll always be glad that we had. And so we've had a blast, man. We love it. It's a slower pace of life. We're 2 hours from Hilton Head, 2 hours from Atlanta. So, we kind of get the best of both worlds. We get the Miley Cyrus it. We get the best of both worlds.
Oh my gosh. So, oh, that hurts. Well, so I have a daughter that's 10 years old. And for some reason, we went through like a Hannah Montana phase, like when we were first married. I don't know if it's like we just got cable and Disney Channel was there or something.
Like just you and your wife did?
Yeah, it was kind of weird. Like, I know there's some serious judgment.
The show's riveting.
We just got cable, I think. I think we spent the first 2-3 years of our marriage without cable or something like that. And then we got it. And Disney Channel, it's something that was decent on. It probably started with babysitting some family or, I don't know, that's been 15 years ago, repressed memories. But so we did that. And now my daughter, being 10, is coming back around. And that's one of her favorite shows right now is Hannah Montana. And just, I can't do it
comes on, you're like, this is one of my favorite episodes, honey.
You walk by, it's like, oh, I remember that one. No, that's not good. That's not good.
That's funny. Yeah, we just finally got out of like Disney shows, and then our youngest is now 3. So he's now into like Paw Patrol, and I don't know if that's Disney or not, but whatever show. But we're back into like, all those. My oldest, who's 16, before Hannah Montana, it was like Dora the Explorer. I feel like that was worse because Dora had no problem taking a way too long pause. Like she'd be like, do you see the tree we're looking for? And we just wait awkwardly long. We're like, we can all see it, Dora. Like, there it is,
There's like some participation, but when the kid's like 3 or 4 years old, they're not really participating or...
We're just sitting there for 30 seconds like, all right, bring the map out. He knows where it is.
I feel like we should recreate that in the podcast just to really give that sense of like anxiousness.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like driving down the road, like that 10-second pause, that 15-second pause. Did it cut out? Like, am I in a dead zone? Like,
did my phone break? There's got to be some type of anxiety just fueling 15, 16, 17-year-olds out there because of Dora the Explorer.
I guess you got a little bit of Spanish in there.
That's true.
Bilingual situation there.
You can learn some stuff.
But the pause, like, is that worth the anxiety that comes with any like awkward silence?
That's great. It's true.
Well, and we have young kids now too. We have the 10-year-old, and then we have now a 1-year-old. And just the stuff that's changed in the last 10 years is ridiculous.
Oh God. Yeah, it's nuts.
I guess Bluey is a thing. I think I've tried to watch that once, and it's just terrible.
Yeah.
Now that I'm a little bit older too, like that kind of stuff annoys me a little bit more, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Like as an older dad, it's like, how is this okay? Like this on the stuff like on repeat, high pitched, kind of stupid. It's like, how is this stuff okay? There used to be like good content.
Yeah, the content's gone downhill. It's like Tots. Like, we get it. You're taking like baby animals to, other animals. Just get a different plot. Season 2 shouldn't be the same thing.
I say that maybe it's just because, I've just gotten older, and just I can ignore it less. But do you remember Power Rangers?
To talk to you about that.
I know, right?
Power Rangers. Yeah, I remember Power Rangers.
But you look back at some of that kind of stuff, and I was so enthralled with that as a kid. Now I come back and look at it, and I'm like, how is this ever entertaining for me? It's the same episode every time, different monster, different whatever, but it's the same exact episode every single time. And like, I was enthralled every single episode.
And those people writing that show were just rolling in it. They're like, these kids, they don't care it's the same episode every day. They love it. We're buying the action figures, the outfits. Crazy.
How many Halloween costumes were Power Rangers for years and years and years?
That's nuts. And then the new movies, remember, like a couple years ago, they came out with newer ones.
They were amazing.
Making that money, dude. The new Power Ranger movie, was pretty awesome.
I don't know why they stopped. That was fought, and my kid liked that one. Although my kid is like really into like all the crappy old shows that I liked as a kid or tolerated as a kid. Like, do you remember like the old Price is Right, Supermarket Sweep, all those shows?
I love those.
They were terrible, but those were the memories like from when you were sick.
Dude, yeah, guess what? I just found out like 2 days ago they're coming out with. You remember, was it Temple Run or Legends of the Temple?
Of the Hidden Temple. Yes.
That's coming back.
No way.
They're doing a casting call in LA for it right now. I saw like online somewhere. But it's like for adults that were fans of it as kids. So they're asking for like, adults to come do. Dude, that was one of my favorite shows. That and what was the show where it was kind of adults were in it, I guess, or like 20-somethings, and you would fight gladiators. Remember that?
Oh, the American Gladiator?
That was such a great show. I was a fan of that, too.
That rolled around back for a minute.
That's right. They did do that.
They rebuilt that or redid that, and then Dwayne Johnson is now doing a similar thing called Titans.
Yep.
Or no, was it?
I watched a few. No, that's it. Titans. I think I watched a few episodes of that.
And that's kind of one of our favorite. Yeah, I mean it's fun.
Yeah.
But we'll have to share this meme when this episode airs. But there's this meme. Couldn't sleep last night. I kept thinking about how the Green Ranger had a dagger that was a flute that sounded like a synthesizer that's trying to sound like a trumpet, and he blew into it with his helmet on.
There's so many wrong things with that. It's like, one, that's not how flutes sound, and two, how are you getting any air? Maybe those masks were a little bit more technical than we understood.
But that's something that, like, as a kid, like, we never even thought about. It was just still amazing.
It was like, oh, man, what is the kid show as a cartoon? I forget what it is. But the cartoon had its ears, like, on the top of its head. But one time at school, they were listening to music, and it put headphones on the side of its head, but its ears were up here. And nobody pointed out as a kid. It's just like, he's listening to music.
I think back on that kind of stuff, and then going back to what my kids are watching, it's like, how did my parents put up with this? Like, this is terrible.
Oh, I think that's why my mom and dad were like, God's side, I'm tired of hearing this.
I figure at some point we should probably talk about music, since this is kind of like the whole point of this. Or we could just sit here and talk about all the crappy TV shows that we used to watch when we were sick. I mean, isn't that crazy? In the last little while, that's what I was going to say. Now it's Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
When we were kids, like, you were what's on TV. Like, Supermarket Sweep was terrible. I mean, it's corny, even though my kid loves it. But that's all we had. Price is Right.
You didn't have all
the things we had. Now you throw open Netflix, and there we go. Yeah,
I remember Wednesdays, me and my mom would have hot wings. I was homeschooled as a kid, and she would do hot wings on Wednesdays. And we'd sit down at lunchtime, and after like Price is Right went off, it was like In the Heat of the Night, or like Chips, or I think The Monkees was out then. Maybe probably wasn't out then, but reruns. And like, those are great. Dude, MacGyver, I wanted to be MacGyver when I got older. Yeah. That guy can save the world with like a French fry, a toothpick, and like 2 sheets of paper and a piece of cardboard. And he doesn't save the world.
Paperclip and some chewing gum and everything's all right with the world, you know, major
don't worry,
terrorist plot.
MacGyver's got it.
Yeah.
It's great.
And now it's crazy. Now, you know, my kid will never know what that is.
Yeah.
You know, she's sick or whatever. We homeschool her too. So on the breaks, it's not, hey, what's on TV? The only thing that's on
What do you
CBS or
wanna watch?
ABC. Exactly.
So true and crazy.
And that's really not been a whole long time span. I mean, it feels like it some days.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think we got Netflix when it was, you know, they would mail you DVDs. And that was like 2004 or 5, like 15 years ago. Kind of nuts.
something that we're starting to discuss a little bit more here at NRT is over that time period, just how much listening to music has changed over that time period, and just in the last 20 years, from CDs to now everything's basically streaming.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. And just how people consume, like people don't consume records anymore. Like it's whatever the single is, it's more song based, which, you know, fast food ain't fast enough for people anymore. But I like, you know, like the way we're releasing music now, I don't know if I'll ever do a record again. I'll probably just do sets of EPs, but I kind of dig it because say I put out 5 songs in the spring. Well, if I'm putting out one record in the fall instead of in the spring and the fall, stuff I'm going through in the fall, I might be in a different place mentally in my walk with Jesus, my walk with my family than I was, you know, saying put out 10 songs together. So I like putting out more music more often, really.
So does that help a little bit with just the process of getting everything in and out? Pun not intended.
Yeah, sure.
But does that help with kind of like your writing process with that all? Because you're focusing on just a small number of songs instead of trying to push for a whole album?
Yeah, and it kind of helps. You know, I'm focused on one song at a time. And so it's like, these are the 3 or 4 songs that we have right now, and we know this one's going to be the next single. So I'm wanting to put out this one with it, put out this one with it. And naturally they're going to sound alike because it's me putting it out. But I'm able to go like, you know what? We don't need another single on this because this ain't going to last me a year. And right now I've been out, you know, away from my wife on the road. I'm putting a love song to my wife on this one, or I'm missing my baby. So I put a Like Your Father Does. I wrote a song like that. So I'm able to write per family. And then, you know, the state of the world and things we're dealing with and things we're seeing. It's like, I want to write for this instead of write for it. And then when it comes out, you know, in September, like no one's thinking about it anymore. So it's been different to like, I think the process mainly for labels to try to figure out. But for me as the writer, I've just thoroughly enjoyed being able to run with something and then just put it out.
Last year you put out an EP, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
I'm treading on dangerous water because I get mixed up with albums more times than I care about.
Yeah.
But, you know, a couple of big songs that have really come through that, you know, Believer and Gospel Song are just two really powerful. Maybe that's why we had you as the host for the We Loves this year. Maybe 2 good songs that came out.
They're like, I bet this guy could be the host of the year.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know if we like his music enough to actually give him an award, but I'm kidding.
No, you know, it's cool too, man, because like at first it was Rhett Walker band and now it's just Rhett Walker. It's funny because, you know, like I've always been the only one signed to the deal, but and I've always had hired guns, but Rhett Walker band had this force to it that was just, it was Southern, it was grace, it was mercy. And I stopped doing that in like 2015, 16 and didn't know if I was going to do music anymore because we had ran it hard. You know, our first single was nominated for a Grammy and we just didn't slow down. And so I was tired, you know, and stepped out of music, didn't know if I was going to do it again. And then come back to, you know, sign another deal and was just going to do the artist thing for a while. And Believer and Gospel Song were, you know, some of my first singles or Believer was my first single as just Rhett Walker. And so I was like, is this going to work? Is it rock and Southern enough, like the fan base that we've made? Is it this? And for the first time, I think I wrote songs that I was like, this feels right to me. I feel like I'm putting out what God has put on my heart. So I'm going to put it out there. And it was the biggest single I've ever had. You know, it went number 5 for almost 30 weeks and just wouldn't leave the charts. And it was like, all right, God, I see what you're saying. You know, when you get out of the way of yourself and you just do what God puts on your heart, usually things pan out.
Yeah. Well, and then you just put out Gospel Song, which, well, not just put out, but you just put out the music video recently that has your whole family involved with it. And that's a lot of fun to see, just that whole dynamic come together in that music video.
Well, I've always said, you know, the three reasons I travel around is faith, family, and freedom. And I really think once that you find that faith, you can't hold it in. It goes out to your family, your friends, your enemies, your coworkers, and then on into this country and, you know, just spreading the gospel. And so we were like, man, let's just have us doing what we do at home, dancing around, cleaning, having fun. And it came out, we recorded that near the end of 2020 when we were able to. And we're like, you know, people need to be reminded that joy and hope and peace and happiness are not brought by our surroundings. Like the kind that sustains you is only brought by Jesus. So whether you're in the world shut down or you're, you know, running like you normally do, our joy, peace, happiness, and all that is not determined by the world. It's only brought to us by Jesus. And so there's still hope and joy to be found in 2020. And so that's what we did. We're like, let's just dance around and have fun, which is funny. Also telling a label, you have that business meet. You're like, hey, look, I've got the idea for the music video. And they're like, what is it? I'm like, me and my wife and kids dancing around the house. And they're like, yeah, you know, so what about like the song? I was like, no, we're doing that until we eat s'mores. So y'all put a budget together and make it happen. But we had fun, man. It was really, really fun.
I love what you say there. As we're starting to kind of open back up and things are starting to get a little bit more normal, whatever that's going to look like. I mean, hopefully that joy, and I think I've talked about this like 8,000 times on this podcast already, but that's been just that common theme that I really hope sticks in as it keeps getting repeated. And as that keeps coming up, that really comes through. And honestly, like, I love that visual of just the family having fun, because there's some really great music videos out there that have incredible production.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Have you seen the Newsboys one for Love One Another?
Yeah, that's a fun video.
That's
Love One Another.
That is amazingly fun. Yeah, I don't know who volunteered their living room for Tate and what is his name?
I forget his name. Don't look at me, because I only remember Tate, Frankenstein. What's the drummer's name, dude?
That's Duncan Phillips.
Duncan. And then the guitar player. Phil Joel. And then Entertaining Angels, the bald guy.
I feel really bad.
Edit this part out so we don't look like horrible Christian music fans.
Oh my gosh, like this is terrible.
Can we talk about bands we know like Michael W. Smith? We don't forget his name.
We can talk about Austin French. I mean, that's...
Hey!
I remember that band name. Peter Furler. Holy cow.
Peter Furler. My gosh, what's wrong with us?
Why did that not come out? It must be the Whataburger that's sitting in.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. We're both getting emails from management like, all right, we can forgive you for being late to the interview, Rhett, but the fact that neither one of y'all can remember Peter Furler, you are fired.
I think when they come back through here in October, they're just going to be like at the door checking tickets and be like, oh yeah, no, just go home. Just turn around.
Yeah. Wait a second. Excuse me, Jake? Yeah. You didn't remember my name. Bye.
Oh my gosh.
That's fun.
We really are huge fans of Christian music, but this is what happens when you're in the middle of an interview and you're trying to come up with something off the top of your head. It's like this huge gap.
Speaking of, though, dude, one of the best, I'll never forget seeing this music video for the first time, Entertaining Angels. Yes. Do you remember that video of them in the middle of the road? Gosh, that music video was, well, just that song too, man. That was such a good song and music video. I loved it.
Oh, yeah, that's what we were talking about, music videos. Yes. This is what happens when you get like on a rabbit trail. And these are honestly some of the most fun conversations in podcasts.
We're just talking, dude.
Exactly.
You know what? And people are just listening. And anybody that's sitting in their car right now going, like, I can't believe they forgot that. You know what? You forgot the grocery list that your spouse sent you. I know that. I saw it on Facebook. It's true. Don't worry about it. I think that was a famous quote from Abraham Lincoln.
Absolutely. 100%.
Hey, you forgot the grocery list I sent you on iMessage.
But no, I mean, this is kind of going into what I was going for the music videos. I mean, this is just kind of real life. I mean, this is what I really love about what I get to do with this podcast is just have conversations, and this is, real life. And that's also kind of where I was going with the music video is like, that's just real life. And, I think that's one of the biggest things that, a lot of stuff has sucked over the last 15 months or whatever it's been since this whole thing started. But, just to be able to have that fun and that time with the family has just been absolutely incredible. Keeping in mind what we do have, which kind of leads to that joy that you're talking about as well. Just there's still a lot we have that we can find joy in, and just something as simple and stupid as dancing around the house, even if it is Hannah Montana or something like that. But,
I think it brings us back to there's so many things that we bust tail over to get this amount in our savings account or to get this truck, or if I just had this thing, or if I could buy this thing. We do that. And sometimes, man, you just got to pull back and be like, at the end of the day, I get to come home from work to my beautiful wife, and I've got 4 beautiful kids that love the Lord. That's all I need. Then you step it back even further. At the end of the day, there is a God up in heaven that says he has a plan for me, that loves me completely, that sent his son to die on the cross for 100% of my mess ups. So whether you're married for 1,000 years, or, you're just getting married, or you're single, or you're young and you don't know what you're going to do with your life, there's still joy and hope to be found because it's found in Jesus. It's easy to lose sight of that. I mean, I'm a Christian artist that you hear on the radio, and I lose sight of that sometimes because I want my next single to work, or I need this music video to get this many likes because it's still my business. But man, we're all humans dealing with so much stuff. But the one thing, the thread that we have in common is we have a God that loves us completely.
And we'll forgive you even if you have Whataburger for lunch or forget Peter Furler's name.
See? See, you can't give me crap about Whataburger anymore because you forgot Peter Furler's name.
We're even.
That's great, man.
So as a dad of 4, I feel like the only way that we can end this episode is with your kids' favorite dad joke.
Oh, man, that one's hard. Does your kids have one? What's your favorite dad joke?
The one that I can make my daughter laugh with every single time is, why do ducks have tails? To cover their butt quack.
That's great. I can't think of one. Dang, that's a really good one. I've got to tell my kids before this podcast comes out because I want them to think I made it up.
Well, that is anytime, like, I could tell that once a day and she would laugh every single time. That's her 100% favorite. I'm not sure what that speaks to as my parenting skills, that butt quack is like her go-to laugh, but we'll run with it.
I love it. I'll have to get back to you on the dad joke because I can't think of any good ones right now. Because the only thing I can think of right now is Peter Furler. It's like the name is just stuck in the front of my head right now. But don't ever forget that name again, Rhett.
See, the great part about grace is that while that's stuck in your mind, that's already forgotten in the book of life. Like that sin is already forgiven.
From the West, baby. That's great.
Oh my goodness. So what we'll have to do is when it comes closer to the episode release, and we'll have to do a dad joke, like Instagram Live or something like that.
Done. What we'll do is we come with our favorite dad jokes, and the first one to laugh loses.
Can I just call a loss already?
Yeah. That's great.
All right. Well, we appreciate you spending the time with us here, Rhett.
Yeah, man. Of course. I'm going to enjoy all the Whataburger I can get.
Thanks for hanging out with us for this episode of the NRT Now podcast. Be sure to subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And special thanks to Neon Feather for providing our theme music. Make sure to check out newreleasetoday.com and our socials for more great content. See you next episode.
you.